All right. Very good, y'all. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get going. Welcome and thanks for being here. This is how to use Facebook advertising to fill your funnel. And I am Kim Snyder, the founder of Sync to CRM. And of course, I'm like on the wrong screen. There we go. Enough about me. I want to know about you. So I have 4 quick poll questions for you. I know I probably should talk and stall for a little while to let more people get in the room so that I can get more answers to these poll questions. But I have so much to cover that I'm just going to put them out there now and knock them out. So if y'all wouldn't mind here, this will help me tailor the content to the people I have in the room. And here is the first one. Launch. There we go. What marketing platform do you use? ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft, MailChimp, or something else? Great. Great. Very helpful. I don't know. Hopefully you all got an opportunity to see the nonprofit, Tom. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't think about that. To see the video that I sent everybody on lead ads. So, all right, very good. All right, so I'm going to close that. That is super helpful. So thank you for doing that. All right. So now that I know a little bit about you, let me tell you what we are going to cover today. First, I'm going to start out with how to take advantage of Facebook's unparalleled targeting capabilities to bring new leads in the top of your funnel. I'm also going to show you how to use retargeting to drive a new lead through your funnel to all the way to the sale and beyond. And then, as far as I'm concerned, the pièce de résistance is how to use Facebook ads and email marketing together to get more conversions without burning out your list. And in showing you this, I'm going to also be showing you a quick demo of Sync to CRM, which makes that possible. But before I do that, let's get through some housekeeping. This training will go 60 minutes plus Q&A. You can type any questions that you have in the control panel. I typically do save my answers until the end, but if it makes sense to answer it right then, I will. This is just checking, yes, being recorded, and barring any technical glitches, you absolutely will get a copy of the recording. Now, for those of you on the call who don't know me, I want to say, first of all, thank you for trusting me enough to give up an hour or two of your time today. I know what a precious commodity time is. And so out of respect for your time, I will just go through a very mercifully brief introduction. I am the founder of 13 companies, including my most recent, which is Sync to CRM. Company number 9 was number 826 on the 2008 Inc. list of fastest growing privately held companies. Actually, we were a 2-time Inc. honoree. I am an Infusionsoft certified partner, Infusionsoft certified developer, and proud to have been Infusionsoft's 2014 most helpful partner. And my passion outside of business is playing polo. The horse kind. People always ask that. Water or horse? The horse kind. So, question for you. What is your number one challenge? When small business owners were asked this question recently, they said, 20% of them said, turning leads into sales. 18% said generating web traffic. Another 18% said finding the time and resources for marketing. And 17% said turning web traffic into leads. In other words, basically, small businesses had 2 concerns running in an almost dead heat at the top of their list. And those were more leads and more time. Yes? Now, with that in mind, let me tell you why the material that I am going to share with you today is important to you right now. You've probably, right, registered for this webinar because you are accountable somehow, even if you're the business owner, somehow for achieving certain growth metrics. You know that you need to be using Facebook advertising. You keep hearing about the potential of Facebook ads, but you aren't quite sure about the nuts and bolts of how to make Facebook advertising either work for you or really work for you. And no worries, because I'm going to lay that all out for you today. Clients who work with me or have heard me speak know that I preach that to be successful business owners, that you must have two critical skills. Those are the ability to buy paid traffic and convert it into sales, as well as the what's the word I'm looking for? Well, really the ability to find and exploit opportunities to arbitrage your time. Now, software and training are obvious time arbitrage opportunities, but my slide won't change. But the technology landscape, right, has never been more overwhelming. From 2014 to 2015, I'm just looking at my notes here, the number of marketing technology companies almost doubled from 947 to 1,876. But don't worry, because I can help you with that. Because here's the big payoff. If you implement what I show you today, there is the potential to 4x the profit, or if you're a nonprofit, Tom, the effectiveness of your marketing funnel. And that's not hype, because I've done it. Okay? So, in case you're wondering if you're in the right place, let me just tell you, first of all, who's in the wrong place. If you're just going to run 3 ads and declare it doesn't work, then this is not going to be for you. I am not for you. Facebook advertising, and you may have heard me say this on the video, one of the first videos that I sent to you after you signed up for this webinar. I think it's like applying defibrillator paddles to your business. I mean, it really can be that dramatic. But to get that sort of a result requires commitment and effort on your part. And so I always want to make sure that everybody understands that up front. So it follows from that if you are someone who is spending $1,000 a month at least on Facebook ads, or will be shortly, or would do, if I could show you the return on investment from that, then this webinar is going to be wonderful for you. Second, this webinar is for a very specific group of people or type of people. This is about the use of Facebook advertising throughout your funnel, not just the top, to growth hack your business. And if that is exciting to you, then you are in the right place. Now, before we get in too deep here, I also want to make sure that we have a meeting of the minds about what is and is not possible. No system, strategy, or software is going to make you more money than you are today if you don't do the work. It's as simple as that. You should know up front that the majority of CRM users make little or no money from the software. The manufacturers would prefer we didn't say that, but it's the truth. Not only that, the majority of Facebook advertisers make little or no return on their Facebook ad dollars. I can promise you. The problem is not that the software or ad platform, quote, doesn't work. The problem is that we don't implement. And in that vein, I have a confession to make. So I'm a small business owner just like you. And while the technology part might not be the same issue for me that it is for some other people, every single day is a struggle to find the time and motivation to sit down and do the work, the important work that is going to move my business forward. I mean, I struggled too, right? I know what I need to do. In fact, this very webinar came out of me sitting down one day and deciding to kick my ass into gear and actually get a proper funnel built the way I knew it was supposed to be built. Is it hard? Yes. Is it necessary? Only if you want to grow your business. So with all of that as preamble, let's get started. Roll up our sleeves and get in there. All right, I'm going to start with a question. So basically, when I did the poll at the beginning of the webinar, like 97% of you own Infusionsoft. So let me ask you, why did you buy Infusionsoft or the other one? Why did you buy that software? You bought it because you thought that it could help you grow your business. That's why you pay for CRMs and email platforms like Infusionsoft or MailChimp. It's why many of you pay for landing page services like lead pages or ClickFunnels. Any software that you buy or subscribe to, there was an explicit or maybe implicit assumption when you made that first payment that it would help you grow your business. Now, the problem is what you bought is a way to build a funnel. Whether you know it or not, that's what you bought. And that's important, don't get me wrong, because the funnel is the engine of a business. But we forget a fundamental fact about funnels. If you don't put anything in the top, nothing comes out the bottom. And I see this over and over when I'm consulting with clients. It's like having a car, but not putting any gas in it. New leads are the fuel that propels your business, the growth of your business. And just like you need a steady stream of gas to the engine of your car, you have to have a steady stream of leads to the engine of your business as well. Now, lucky for us, there has never been an easier, more cost-effective way to bring quality leads in the top of our funnel. And guess what? It's called Facebook. So let me share with you 5 amazing facts about Facebook. Fact number 1, Facebook has over 1 billion daily active users who on average log on 15 times a day and spend 20 minutes browsing, watching videos, and interacting with relevant and interesting content. And in the United States, guess what? It's 40 minutes. 40 minutes a day on Facebook on average. Fact number 2, Facebook collects something like 10,000 data points on each and every user. No one knows the exact number, but it is staggering what they know. Fact number 3, organic reach has declined from 16% in 2012 to currently 2%. And if you don't understand what I mean when I say organic reach, it's a measure of the number of people who will see your post in their news feed without any paid placement. Fact number 4, Facebook's ad platform offers over 10,000 data points for ad targeting. And fact number 5, Facebook earned $3.69 billion in profit in 2015. Now, taken together, here is what these mean to you. No matter what you sell or who you sell it to, in and amongst those 1 billion daily active users is a critical mass of your target audience. And nowhere else are they so reachable en masse at such a low cost. And this is, I admit that I am a little bit of a Facebook fangirl. I didn't used to be, and it's not just because I have software that works with Facebook. I mean, I am so enthralled and enamored with their business model. Their whole reason for being is to take your ad and put it in front of the one person from amongst 1 billion people who is going to be the happiest to see it and the most likely to take action on it. And even though the whole data thing is a little bit disconcerting for some of us, and if you're really concerned about privacy, it's really disconcerting. If you could just kind of step back from that for a second and look at it from the 10,000-foot view, the more data they collect, the more successful they can be at that matchmaking. Now, I mentioned about my company number 9, which was number 826 on the Inc. 500 list, or 5,000 list rather. So I still own that company. It's an investment firm in Dallas. I haven't been involved in the day-to-day since like 2009 or 2010, I think. But I still own it. And I built that company primarily on the back of radio. And I had a radio show in Dallas for 9 years, and they still use radio advertising. Now, if you think about mass media like radio or TV or any of those, there are only so many 30-second spots in an hour or so many placements on a page. And because of that very limited supply and the fact that the targeting is too broad, to say the least, right? You just put your message out there on over the airwaves and hope that it lands on the ears of somebody who might find it interesting. That makes those ads very, very expensive. But in contrast, because Facebook can target so precisely, it has in theory an unlimited ad inventory. And as a result, ads are very, very low cost, and the return on your ad spend is much higher. So Facebook advertising, really, I mean, when it comes down to it, they give anybody the ability to put their content in front of the exact right audience at the exact right time at a very attractive price. And if your job is to create brand awareness or thought leadership or leads, and you're not using Facebook advertising, then the case to get started or get serious if you haven't is just, to me, it's just a no-brainer. There is a reason Facebook makes all that money, and it is because Facebook advertising works. So let's look at how we could use the best matchmaker in the history of mankind to fill our funnel with leads. Okay, this is your typical funnel. And when I go and work with clients, this is 9 times out of 10, this is what I'm going to see. On the left-hand side, these blue boxes obviously represent traffic sources. And I've really picked these out of what you would see if you went into your Google Analytics, right? Referral traffic, meaning links from other websites, wherever those might come from, marketplaces or what have you. Direct traffic, or people who already know who you are, and they're coming straight to you. Organic search, right, which is primarily Google, and customer referrals. So outside of paid advertising, right, these are typically your four sources, and they bring people into the top of your funnel where you have some sort of a form, probably an Infusionsoft form, which is an opt-in for either your newsletter or a lead magnet of some sort. The whole goal is to when they hit your website, to get them to fill out that form. They become a subscriber, at which point a whole bunch of stuff happens, mainly around email, which is going to hopefully drive them to become a buyer. And then a whole bunch more stuff happens, again, mainly around email. And hopefully that is going to result in them becoming a fan, which circles back around to that customer referral, right? So in its very most simplest form, that is your funnel. And that's what most of them look like. But remember what I said. Okay, I think one of the 2 critical business skills for a small business person is the ability to take paid traffic and convert it into sales. So typically when someone adds paid advertising, in this case, Facebook most of the time, although it could be other things, right? Then what tends to happen is it's just the same thing, only now it's just one more traffic source coming into that same funnel. Only you'll notice that the arrow, I tried to make the arrow for paid ads a little bit bigger, because typically that traffic, if you do it right, is going to dwarf the traffic from those other sources. Okay. So with that in mind, let's look at how when we add that paid traffic to our funnel, just what that is going to, the mechanics of creating that ad to do some basic lead generation. And I am going to, just so you know, I've started using, for these parts that are kind of highly technical and dense, I've created videos. Otherwise, just all the typing and stuff, it would take me 45 minutes to just get through this part. And this condenses it down into a nice little short 7-minute video. So bear with me one second. Here we go. So in this little demo, we're going to create an ad for Sync to CRM. And it's going to be a lead magnet. And we want to attract people who might be potential customers for Sync to CRM. And let's just imagine that one of my customer avatars is in the real estate space, and specifically it's the online business manager for, or maybe a director of digital marketing for one of the big real estate groups. That's one of my customer avatars. And so I'm going to create an ad specifically targeted at that person. So what we're going to do here, we're already in the ads manager. I'm going to tell it I want to create an ad. So I can come up here to the right hand side, say create an ad. Now quickly, before I start creating this ad, in case you've never had the structure of an ad campaign in Facebook explained to you, it has 3 layers right here: a campaign, an ad set, and an ad. And the easiest way to think of this is like a file drawer. So the campaign is like your file drawer. It holds a collection of similar objects. In this case, it holds ad sets. An ad set is sort of like the file folder. So at the ad set, at the campaign level, we're going to choose the objective. Here at the ad set level, you're going to set the audience that you're targeting, your budget and schedule. And within a campaign, you may choose to have, and you often will have, multiple ad sets with different audiences and different budgets and schedules, all with the same campaign objective. And then within each ad set, we have the ads. So you can think of the ads like the piece of paper or pieces of paper within the file folder within the file cabinet. Okay, so we're going to start up here at the top level and define our objective. Okay, so when choosing your objective, you always want to let Facebook do what it does best, because what it's going to do is, based on your objective, it's going to say within your target audience, who is the most likely of the, let's just say that your target audience is 1 million or 1.5 million people. It knows of those 1.5 million people, which of them are the most likely to like a page or click on a link to a website or actually fill out a form or view a video. It knows all of that. And so you want to be very, you want to help Facebook help you as much as you can by choosing the objective that is the best fit. So in this case, since it's a form that I want filled out for the lead magnet, I'm going to choose increase conversions because that's what a form is a conversion. And so this is the landing page on the website where I want to send them for the 5 tools lead magnet. And now it's asking me which of my conversion pixels would I like to use. And I happen to have one right there called requested 5 tools magnet. So I'm going to tell it that when that pixel fires, that's how we know we've got a conversion, so it can optimize towards that. I'm going to name this campaign 5 tools lead magnet realtors, and with the conversion objective. And now we can do some targeting to try to find those realtors. So for now, we're going to skip custom audiences because we're going to come back to those. We'll also, for now, just keep it simple, leave this is the United States, although we could change that, of course. I'm just going to guess that someone in the position that I'm looking for is probably going to be somewhere like between, say, 21 and 55. So I'm going to just narrow this down ever so slightly. This is just a basic example. We'll leave gender set at all. Now, here's where it gets exciting. In the detailed targeting, you really should create an ad, get to the ad set, and come in here and browse all of the various things that you can use here to define your target audience. What you want for cold traffic, meaning in this case, I am just going out to people who don't know me from Adam. We want this number right here, the reach of my ad, to be between 1 million and 1.5 million people. 139 million is just a little too big. So we want to start narrowing down this audience. And so since I know that I want someone who is in the real estate space, you can see as I start typing, not only does it begin to give me suggestions, but it also tells me how many people are in each of these segments. So I'm going to start with this one and say, all right, we want real estate, but that's too big. That's 21 million people. And I don't just want people who are interested in real estate. I'm going to narrow this, and I'm going to start with digital marketing, which is another 37 million people. But so now what I'm saying is that I want people who have shown an interest in both real estate and digital marketing. And when you put those two together, that gets me to about 1.3 million, which is exactly where I want to be in terms of my target audience. So I'm going to set my budget. We'll just make this $10 a day for now to make it simple. It's optimized for conversions because that's what I chose. I'm going to let Facebook do what it does best and handle all of the bidding for me. I can name this ad set and then move on to my ad creative. So we'll make this fairly simple. I'll just do a single image. I already have an image in my library for this, just right here. And we want to connect this ad to the Sync to CRM page. So here is our headline. And our text right up top, we're calling out the target audience, realtors. Did you know Facebook ads are the hottest way to bring in new clients and listings? We're talking their language. And then finally down, we can choose to have either no button or a call to action button. Lately, I think the conventional wisdom is to stop using that button. It worked when it was novel, but now that it isn't, it screams ad. So we're going to take that off. And then down here, we want to add some more text right there, which describes what they're going to get. Notice we say download our free guide, and I use the word summary and quick, top picks, etc. Right? Realtors. And then finally, the display link is fine the way that we've got it. Over here, I'm going to choose which placements I want. In this case, I'll just keep these all together. I'm going to get rid of Instagram. I'm going to get rid of Audience Network, and we'll just do desktop right column and mobile. And then all I have to do next is say place order, and my ad is ready to go. So I'm going to turn this off so that I'm not paying for it. And if you want to see your ad, what you would do is now you can tell in the ads manager that you're at the campaign level because it will tell you right up here. So if you click in here, so this will click you into the ad set. Keep clicking until you get to the ad itself, because then there's nothing more to click on. Here's a view of your ad, and if you want to preview it, you can look at it just like that. So that is how we take advantage of Facebook's unparalleled targeting capabilities to bring new leads in the top of your funnel. Okay. So that got us, a good start. We're now fishing in a massive ocean, but with some very specific bait that can get us exactly the fish that we are targeting coming in the top of our funnel, right? So let's go to the next step. Let's talk about what is known as the second list. Because again, going back to the way that we used to do this, right, is before Facebook became such a big thing. The whole goal of traffic was to get someone to fill out that form, right? Because until they filled out the form, you had nothing. You had no way of contacting them. You didn't know anything about them. But that is not true anymore, right? There's now a step before that form, and that is known as pixeling. So let me explain pixeling to you very quickly. If you don't know what a pixel is, don't be intimidated by the term. It is simply a term for a little piece of JavaScript code, usually, that you put on your website, and it tracks your visitors and sends it back to whoever gave you the code. You probably have this all over the place. Certainly, you almost certainly have Google Analytics tracking code. That's the same as what Facebook calls a pixel. Many of the third-party software systems, like affiliate systems and various things, will have you also put a little piece of code on your website for tracking. Live chats, all kinds of things will give you, those are snippets, pixels, whatever your tags, whatever, they have different names, but we're all talking about the same thing, which is a little piece of tracking code. Now, Facebook has its piece of tracking code, and what you should do is put it everywhere. And I'm telling you, even if you aren't doing Facebook advertising and you don't even think that you might be doing it in the near future, you should still go open your Facebook advertising account, get your pixel, and put it everywhere. And by everywhere, I mean on all of your websites, basically all your web properties, on your Infusionsoft order forms, web forms, lead pages, ClickFunnels, any of those things, anywhere that you can get to that. You want to put that pixel there because, as you're going to see here in just a moment, you actually can grab the tracking data from those pixels retroactively so long as they are installed. So you might not think that you need them right now, but then suddenly you realize that you do, and you're only able to take data going forward rather than going backwards. If it's already installed, then that data is available to you. So I would strongly recommend that you go do that. That's like job number one. So that's a pixel. Now, what happens when we all have these pixels on our websites is that if I put an ad out there that drives you to, say, a blog post on my page, then even if you don't, or on my site rather, even if you don't sign up for my newsletter, I still have you, quote, pixeled, meaning that although I don't know your name and email address, Facebook does. And I can't say send Joe an email, but I can say send an ad or show an ad to everybody who has visited certain combinations of pages, as you're about to see. So let me just play you this video here. Oh wait, let me show you a custom audience as well, real quickly. You're going to see custom audience in this video. And when you see custom audience, all we're talking about there is a list. That's Facebook's terminology for list. Now, in this video, we're going to create these lists out of people who have been pixeled by visiting certain pages. And then later, in the next one, we'll look at how we can do that based on data in Infusionsoft. But we're going in baby steps here. So let's just remember what a custom audience is. Okay, it's just a list. That's all. So here we go. Okay, we're going to start this video right where we left off the last one, which is with our 5 tools lead magnet. And we are trying to get folks opted into this lead magnet so that we can continue them down our funnel towards Sync to CRM. But what about the people who clicked on the ad that we created in the last video, made it to this page, but did not make it to the thank you page? Well, if you think about it, those people, we do not have their email address yet because they haven't completed the form, but we still want to try to push them towards completing this registration. And so the way that we're going to do that is we're going to use a little bit of retargeting with a website custom audience. Now, I know that I have a pixel, a Facebook pixel on this page because I have the Facebook pixel on every page on my website, and I can see it right up here using the Facebook pixel helper that it is there. And it is also on my landing page, which means that because I have a pixel there, I can go create my website custom audience. So let's go do that first, and then we'll create the ad. So let me just show you how to get to that. It's right here in your ad manager under assets, audiences. I'm going to say I want to create a new custom audience. We're going to use website traffic, and we have 4 different options here in the drop down. Anyone who visits your website, people who visit specific pages, people who haven't visited in a certain amount of time. This is the one we want, the third one, people who visit a specific web page but not others. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to say this is going to be the landing page. I don't have to put in the full URL, just enough of the slug to make it unique. And then we're going to exclude people who hit the thank you page so that this ad is only going to people who visited the landing page but not the thank you page. In terms of the duration, if you have, you can go back to 180 days with a custom audience, a website custom audience. So if you've had the pixel on this page for that long and you want to go back that far with your ad retargeting, you could. You also notice here, that's what this checkbox is about. So even though we're creating this now, we're saying include past web traffic as far back as 180 days because we've had it a pixel there for that long. And then we're going to give our audience a name. We're going to call it 5 tools visited but did not register, create audience. And just so you know, when you first create a custom audience, it's always initially red. It can take anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour for this to populate. But we are going to go ahead, knowing that it will turn green eventually, and create our ad. So the next thing we're going to do right up here is say create ad. Now again, this ad is actually for the same thing as our last ad. We're trying to get them to sign up for that lead magnet. So we're going to have the exact same objective, which was conversions. We're going to send them to the same URL, which is our 5 tools landing page. We're going to use the same conversion pixel, and our campaign name is going to be retarget 5 tools visited but did not register. Now, in our ad set this time, so when we were going to the cold audience before, we used all of this interest targeting and demographics. But here, we're going to use our list, the list that we've created from our website custom audience. So I start typing and it comes up. This is our website custom audience, 5 tools visited but did not register. That's all we want right now. We can take this out because we don't want to limit it to people in that custom audience from the United States. We want the age range as broad as possible, gender all, nothing in language, nothing anywhere in here. Actually, we're going to set this to $10 a day and let Facebook do what it does best. I can give this ad set a name and go on to creating our ad. Now here for the image, typically what I would do here is create a slightly different image that still looked close enough that it looked familiar, but not so close that they had banner blindness. I, in this case, don't have another image made for this, so I'm going to go ahead and use the other one, but just know that typically that would not be best practice, all right? But for now, you understand we're going to do it. There is our image again. And so what's really going to set this ad apart from the last one is the copy. So we might use the same headline, but we're going to use the classic Molly Pittman digital marketer retargeting copy up here, which is, hey, did life get in the way? We are going to leave off the call to action button just like we did in our previous ad. And then down here, we might do something like taking our previous copy and changing it just a little bit. So we're saying we didn't want you to miss our free guide, and then the rest is the same. So just along with this, hey, did life get in the way? We didn't want you to miss our free guide. It speaks directly, although not in a creepy way, to the fact that they've already been here and now we're retargeting them. All right. So all we have to do next is take off Instagram, the audience network, and say place order, and our ad is ready to go. And that is how we use retargeting to drive a new lead through our funnel to the sale and beyond. Okay. Hopefully you guys got that. I have to make a confession here. My husband walked in right, which I would never do that to him. Anyway, it walked into my office and distracted me right before that video, and I realized that I didn't do the greatest job of setting that up. So, so hopefully you guys have the gist of that, which is that number one, the second list, what we mean by that is really, really important. Let me just go back to that and just make sure that we were, wrong way, clear on that. The second list is really important because now what we're trying to do is not go direct from cold traffic to give me your email address, but rather we are purposefully in our campaigns creating an interim step where we're driving them, usually using content like a blog post, to our website to get pixeled, and then coming back behind that and using a website custom audience to retarget them to then, once they're warmed up, they know who we are, they've read some of our stuff, they know, like, and trust us, then we come in and ask them to opt in. And we find that the success rate of that is much higher. So just as an example, let me back up to that second list. In the same way, now that people say, oh, the list is king, how many people do you have on your list? How many people on your list? Well, nowadays people talk about the second list, that being the Facebook pixeled list, right? In the same way, I mean, how many people you have on that list is equally important, because it is how many people who know you that you can target with an ad, in the same way that your email list is how many people who know you that have given you permission to send them an email. Now, one is owned, your email address list is owned, and your pixel list is not, it's kind of rented. But nonetheless, it is a valuable asset that we now work very hard to build in the same way that we want to build our email list. And going back to the success rates of these, so just, as an example, someone who is cold and hits my website, my conversion rate on those forms is under 1%, close to 1, but under 1%. Whereas if I can send somebody to great content and then turn around and show them an ad for my lead magnet, then like in this example, my conversion rate on that ad is about 70%. And is costing me right now about $1.20 a conversion, meaning $1.20 an email subscriber. I spent something around 50 to 60 cents getting that lead in the first place, right? So I'm looking right there at about a $2 subscriber, very round, but a $2 subscriber, which I'm very, I'd like to drive those numbers down, but I'd be happy to pay all day long. So that's what that process is looking like. And at that point now, you have got a really warm lead that is well targeted. Not only is it warm, but it's pretty qualified, right? And come in the top of your funnel. So let me, having now circled back to that, and if I have left anything out since Jim distracted me, then make sure you ask me in the Q&A session if something there was not clear. Now, so if you do what I just showed you, right, which is using paid ads effectively to bring in the leads to the top of your funnel like that, and retarget them if they don't convert right away, which is what we did there, right? We picked up the people who visited our web page, our landing page, but didn't actually make it to the thank you page. I mean, that's a great start, right? That's frankly as far as most people get. But if you do what everyone else does, then you're going to get what everyone else gets. And that is not you, my friend, right? We want more. And so to do that, what we have to do is bring down the Great Wall. Here is what I mean. So the way most of us think about this, if we think about it at all, is there is a wall between leads and prospects, meaning we have all of these sources of leads, including paid ads, and we use those to get people into the top of our funnel. And then the moment that they fill out one of those forms and we have their email address, boom, we shut off the paid advertising and then turn around and start using email advertising, right? So it's on the left-hand side of the wall, it's ads primarily, and on the right-hand side, it's email, and neither the twain shall meet. Now, let me tell you why that makes absolutely no sense. Someone who sees both an ad and an email is 77% more likely to convert than someone who just sees one or the other. Now, this is like Ads 101. This is not a new idea. Big brands will run the same ad campaign across multiple mediums, like print and TV, radio, outdoor, digital, all at the same time. They're not identical, but it's the same campaign. It's very recognizable. Flow or the gecko or what have you. It's when you walk through the airport, they're on the signage through the airport. It's everywhere, right? Now, why do they do that? Well, it's not because they're stupid. It's because it's always been true that the more medium, then the higher the impact. So how do we apply that idea to our campaigns? Well, we start using what are known as either CRM Custom Audiences. Okay, this is as opposed to the website custom audiences we created in the last step, which came from the pixel. Right? Now we're talking about CRM custom audiences, which are also known as email custom audiences. Okay. Now, what we're going to do with those is we're going to run Facebook ads and emails at the same time with similar copy and consistent landing pages using data from your CRM for the targeting. So hopefully I've set it up better this time. I'm going to show you this in the next video. And keep in mind here that sometimes, right, you can create a custom audience just from what pages someone does or doesn't visit on your site. I mean, I only showed you one example of that, which was the has visited this page but not this other page. But there are many different there's those multiple different ways of creating a website custom audience. And if you create enough of them and include and exclude them, you can get pretty darn specific on a lot of things, but not everything, right? There are times when the only way to target who you want or need is with data from the lists and tags in your CRM. And those are these, what we call customer list audiences or CRM custom audiences. I'm going to show you an example of both right here, right now in this video, as well as how Sync to CRM makes them work together. Okay. So this is about the same length as those other videos. Here we go. Once we have someone opted in to our lead magnet, which is the 5 tools, then the next step for us is a webinar. So for purposes of demonstrating this idea of customer list audiences, which is data from your CRM or email platform, I'm going to skip past the webinar registration because most of the time that can be done with a website custom audience. I'm going to move on to the ad that will be shown after the webinar, depending on whether you attended or did not attend, because that data very definitely only lives in our CRM. So let me drag over my campaign planning document. This color coding is actually the way I plot out what I'm going to do and the order that I'm going to do it in. So let's just talk about this section right here, just as an example. So what you can see is that at this point, we've had the webinar and you have been tagged as having been here, not been here, or you're a Sync to CRM user already. So both of these are essentially the same. What happens is you get added, based on this tag being applied, you get added to a list. In my case, this would be an active campaign, as well as a custom audience, saying that you have not visited the replay yet, because literally this happens right after the webinar and you don't have the link to the replay yet. And the same will happen for those who do not attend. They are added to a did not attend list, as well as a custom audience, and a did not visit replay list and custom audience. And then in both cases, what we're going to do is we're going to simultaneously begin to show you, so you know what to expect, emails, 3-day series of emails and ads pushing you to, in this case, take the offer and visit the replay, right? And once you do, then this will all change, because now you'd be added to a different list and custom audience and removed from that one. So this is going to be the example. We'll just do one. I'm not going to do the email either. I think you get the idea. But the point being that these custom audiences, website custom or CRM custom audiences, and emails that go together are planned at the same time and created at the same time. Just you create the ad at the exact same time and in the same way that you would create the email. So let's go look at how this custom audience and ad is set up, this time using Sync to CRM. Okay, going back to custom audiences for a moment, you'll notice that if I say create audience, custom audience, I have this option here for customer list audience, which will match an email or a phone number. But the problem with that is that my choices are to upload a file, copy and paste, or do a one-time import from MailChimp. And not only are these time-consuming, but the data is stale. It's not dynamic, it's static. You put it in there one time and it never changes. And the nature of these campaigns that I'm showing you is these are automated evergreen campaigns, which means that this data has to be kept in sync with your CRM, not just be a one-time upload. So you can see I already have a webinar registration custom audience here, but now we're going to go create the custom audience for webinar attended. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to head over to Sync to CRM. I'm going to log in. This is my Sync to CRM dashboard. So I'm going to say create new. What we're creating is a Facebook custom audience. I say continue. I select my CRM account. In this case, it's coming from Active Campaign and syncing with Facebook. The audience name is going to be webinar attended. I select my Facebook account. It asks which list is this coming from, say webinar attended. And we now have a custom audience, which is set up and will be updated every time someone is added to that list in Active Campaign. So what do I do with that? Well, back to the ad manager. Let's go create an ad now. In this case, the goal is to get people who've attended the webinar to go to the replay page. So that actually isn't a conversion objective. It is a website click objective. Just trying to get you to the replay page, and the replay page will take it from there. So we're sending them to the webinar replay page on our membership site. We're just using a plain old pixel for that. And we're going to give this campaign a name and move on to the ad set. Now for the targeting on this ad, we're going to use two different custom audiences. So the first one that we have is we want to include people who attended the webinar, and then we want to exclude people using a website custom audience who visited the webinar replay page. So as soon as you are marked as attended, you'll begin to see this ad. As soon as you visit the replay page, you will be excluded and moved on to the next part of the funnel. We can take out any other targeting here because we want you to see this no matter who or where you are. And then we make our budget and move on to the ad copy. Now, for purposes of, you've already seen a couple of ads. I'm not going to create this particular ad, but you get the idea. This is the more important part of the concept, that this webinar attended custom audience can't exist dynamically without sync to CRM, keeping it updated. And then just to finish off the rest of the funnel for you, there are a couple of different ways to get this attendance done, but for me, I use Zapier. So you can see that this Zap is when a new attendee is created in GoToWebinar, then it's going to update that attendee in my active campaign account by putting them in a list, giving them a tag of webinar attended. And then that tag is going to then kick off simultaneously an email series and an ad series. And in the same way that you would use a goal to stop this email series, the exclusion is going to stop the ads. And that is how to use Facebook ads and email marketing together to get more conversions without burning out your list. Okay, so let me just say something about that without burning out your list part, because we really didn't touch on that very much. But if you were to look closely at the campaign plan that is on your screen, you would actually find that there are a number of places where I'm doing this, where I'm running emails and ads simultaneously. And there's a concept that I've done in a lot of my other webinars of the leaky bucket, where you use the ads to plug the leaky buckets. And the leaky bucket is anywhere when someone doesn't do what you wanted them to do immediately. You can only send them so many emails, right? For example, let's just say I sent you 3 emails trying to get you to sign up for this webinar. Well, at some point I got to stop or I'm going to burn up my list, but I don't have to stop showing you ads. And so I can keep showing you ads well after I've, kind of hit the limit on my emails without burning out my email list, which is an asset, and I don't want to burn it out. There are other examples of leaky buckets and using ads for those as well to keep, from burning out your list. Or even think about the number of people who don't open your emails, because on average, only about 30% of your emails get opened. What about the 70% who don't open your emails? So you can be showing them ads. So there's all, the example that I'm giving you here today is a very kind of simple and linear one, just to try to kind of get your brain around the constructs. But actually, truth be told, once you grasp this, you'll start to realize that the number of places where you can use a Facebook ad is in the same way that an email and more. And, they become almost limitless. In fact, I have a number of articles on the blog if you want to know like all the clever and creative ways to use Facebook ads that you wouldn't even think of as being, in a funnel. So I really didn't talk too much in this particular webinar about the without burning out your email list. So I just wanted to touch on it very, very briefly, as that being the idea. And again, as I go through the Q&A here, if you have any questions about any of this at all, any of the detail, because it does go kind of fast, I want to make sure that you ask that. But just to kind of circle back and tie this one up, what we're doing here is basically in this last video is we're layering 2 very advanced concepts together. And just so I'll tease them out here for a second to make sure you're clear on the 2 parts. The first one is just running synergistic ad and email campaigns together, just like big brands do. And the second is so that we can take advantage of that 77% higher conversion number, right? The second is using data from your CRM to target ads, because that the data that you need to get exactly the target that you want is not always there. Okay. All right, so we have Q&A coming up shortly, so feel free, like I said, to ask a lot of questions on that. But first, let me just, I've got to get cracking here. Let me talk to you for just literally 2 or 3 minutes about the sponsor of today's webinar, Sync to CRM, and then we'll get to the Q&A and get you guys out of here. So about Sync to CRM, you saw a demo. I created Sync to CRM so that you can create automated, scalable Facebook campaigns that work hand in hand with your email campaigns so that you can grow your business faster and more profitably. And so it does a couple of things for you. One is converting more leads by instantly pushing your Facebook lead ad form submissions to your CRM or email platform so that you can send an immediate response and then trigger email and Facebook ad campaigns right there on the spot. We didn't talk about lead ads at all today, but I did send you about a 20-minute video about from end to end, soup to nuts, how to set those up. That's another feature of Facebook advertising that we're not covering here, but Sync to CRM does keep those two synced up. It automates your Facebook ad campaigns in the same way that you would automate an email campaign by creating and constantly updating Facebook custom audiences using tags, lists, or saved searches. And syncing custom audiences automatically means that your Facebook ad campaigns and lookalike audiences can scale automatically. In fact, I am very proud to say that depending on the day, we are syncing between 3 and 4 million contacts to Facebook custom audiences each and every day. Some days we even go up over 7 million just on a kind of unusual day. So we sync a lot of contacts to Facebook. Now, naturally, if you actually implement, which is where I started, everything that I just shared with you, you're going to see amazing results in your business, which is why you should invest in Sync to CRM right now. I would price. It starts at just $42 a month for up to 20,000 contacts. That's 20,000 contacts in your Infusionsoft app. And then goes up, the price plans go up from there all the way up to 1 million contacts. We offer a 30-day free trial at sync2crm.com. I would also mention, if you're just dipping your toe into the water with Facebook advertising, we do have an unlimited lead ad only plan for $12 a month as well. But in the survey, none of you said you were doing lead ad only, so that's probably not going to be a fit for anyone here. And here's why you should do it now. The offer had to come. If you sign up now, you get, if you sign up, by end of day Sunday, you will get a 20% discount for as long as you remain a user when you use the discount code here on the screen at checkout. You will also get a free 1-hour done with you session with me. So I'll help you get it all set up. And a 30-day free trial means that you have no risk whatsoever. You can cancel before the 30 days are up if you don't see the potential ROI. So let me just throw up our last poll question. You can see we've got the discount code or promo code right there. And the last poll question is, which of these are you interested in? Sync to CRM, done with you, done for you, or none of the above? Sync to CRM, done with you. Interesting. No done for yous, which is good because I said it, and then someone says, oh yeah, I'm interested in the done for you. Okay, great. Awesome, you guys. Okay. Let a few more of you get your answers in there. And then we're going to go to Q&A. You know what? I'll just leave that up and go to Q&A. So what questions do you all have for me? If you want to go ahead and put those in the question box now, I would be more than happy to answer them. And actually, while you guys are, I will go ahead and close this actually. And then while you all are, because maybe you can't type your questions while I have that poll open. I don't know. While you're doing that, I'm going to mute my mic for just like half a second and get a sip of water here. 1 second. Okay. Tom says, why not use Instagram at the same time? Sure. So generally, when I'm running ads, if I was going to use Instagram, I would break that out into its own ad set at a minimum, and possibly even its own campaign. Tom, when I was doing this, I actually put a lot of things together in one campaign that I typically wouldn't. I would usually, just to be able to see what's performing and what's not, and the cost. I would typically put different groups of countries in different campaigns, different male, female in different campaigns, desktop versus mobile versus Instagram, all in different campaigns, and run them separately with their own budgets and their own ad sets and their own copy, etc. And the reason for that is a couple things. It's just cleaner and easier to see what's working and what's not, even though Facebook obviously has a lot of reporting that will tell you some of that as well. But the thing is, when you get too many things gummed up in there together, what Facebook does is it starts to optimize automatically your ads, and it makes a determination about what it thinks is working and start to move more and more of the budget towards that, which when you've got too many things in there makes it hard to figure out, to test different ideas and to change them up and see what's working and what's not. So anyway, that's a long way of saying that really in the real world, that Instagram I might have, but it would have been its own campaign, just like desktop would have been and mobile also would have been. But very most certainly could have used that. Okay. What else? Any questions on like the general concept? Anything about custom audiences, pixels, sync to CRM, anything? Wow, you guys are like the world's quietest group. All right, then. I'll just jump into closing remarks. Tom's going to jump in and save the day here. Is there a pixel for different groups? No. So Facebook, as has Google and most other people, but Facebook in late 2015 introduced a new pixel, which is called goes by different names. Some people just call it the new pixel or the universal pixel or the master pixel. You used to have different, you had to go get a different pixel and put it on different pages of your site to track different things, like different conversion events. And it was a real pain. So in November-ish, they introduced, the new pixel, which is a single pixel, and you just put it everywhere. And then you tell the pixel what you want to measure. So the pixel is everywhere, and you say, hey, pixel, when someone hits this landing page, I want you to count that as a conversion and give it a value. This thank you page. I want you to count that as a conversion and give it a value of $149, for example. But it's the exact same pixel everywhere. You're just kind of giving it different parameters so that it can interpret for you, as opposed to a completely different snippet of code that went everywhere. So Tom says, but if you want to target moms versus students, how does it know? Okay, that's different. That's not the pixel. That is the targeting. And so let me do this, Tom. I don't have it up. But so that's very different. The pixel is watching who comes to your site and who does what. As a way of kind of in the same way that Google Analytics does, so they can basically, give you people to target that have visited your site, okay, or report back to you, which is different than the first ad that we did. We didn't use any pixels, any custom audiences at all. What we did there is we went into Facebook's very extensive list of demographics and interests and job titles and things, and chose, if you remember, we chose people who were interested in real estate and digital marketing and came up with our list of 1.3 million people. And that, I mean, you can't even imagine all the stuff that they have in there. They know that you're about ready to buy a car and that you have $200,000 of disposable income, and that you're a mom, or that you're in year 3 of, graduate school or what have you. Like, you can target on all of those things. You just have to kind of poke around in there to find all that stuff. And that has nothing to do with pixeling, because that's going out into the sea of 1.5 billion users and saying, find me these people that meet this criteria, who don't know me from Adam. They've never been to my website. They've never been pixeled. They're not in my CRM. I just want you to show an ad to them cold, to start to bring them down into my orbit, into my radar, by getting them to look at my blog post or like my page or something like that. Does that make sense? The difference between the pixeling and the custom audiences, which is people who are known to you or you are known to them, actually is a better description, versus the big broad targeting to cold audiences, which is just using Facebook's targeting. Thank you. You are most welcome. Tom says, hope you can take a break, rest, and spend time with your horses. Yeah, actually, so for those of you, many people know I play polo, and that my lifetime dream was to build my office in my barn, and which I did. So on 3 sides, if I'm standing here right now, I can look literally right out my window, and they're right there. Sometimes they come and stare in at me like, come on, Mom. So thank you for that. All right, any other questions that I can help you guys with? No? All right. Well, let me just wrap this up. I've got about 2 minutes here. All right. So, here's some things that I think are probably true about you. Number 1, you've sat through this entire webinar. Number 2, Facebook advertising and email campaigns both work. And you know that if you use this approach, it's probably going to do well for your business. So if you want to run campaigns more profitably with less time and effort, go to sync2crm.com. Don't forget the promo codes. Only good until Sunday evening, my time. So sign up for your free trial right now while it's still fresh on your mind. I'd love to help you. I'm Kim Snyder. I hope you enjoyed this information as much as I've enjoyed sharing it with you. Now, you guys, go out there, use it to go forth and conquer.